Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Way That I See It. My name is Lucy Superfox, and this is my podcast. So this week we are talking all about how not to be a quitter. So first things first, I want to clarify what I believe quitting is, because so many people will listen to this first section, or they'll read the title, or they'll see the thumbnail, and they'll be like, oh God, it's going to be aggressive. I've given up on loads of things. It's going to make me feel really bad about myself. And here's what I want you to know. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I want to share with you today is about how to recognize the difference between when something no longer serves you, how to let something go. And this is a big part of healing, right? This is why this is part of the healing series, is how to let something go with peace, with ease, just knowing that it's no longer the thing that you're inspired to do, you're excited to do, you want to do. And instead, how to actually then, when there is something you want, there is something you want to keep doing, how to keep doing it and to not quit on yourself. So that's the two things I want to talk about. Is one is how to let things go through peace, through ease, and through flow. And the second thing I want to talk about is how not to be a quitter when you're striving and achieving for your goals. So first things first, let's talk about the difference. So for me, so as you guys know, right, I left my corporate job back in 2016. Now, I quit as in I physically resigned from my job, but I didn't quit as in give up on my events career. I just made a bold decision that the way that I was currently working, what I was currently doing, was not going to get me to where I needed to go. It was not going to get me to the lifestyle that I desired and dreamed. So for me, that was letting go of a construct, a way of working, a way of life that I felt no bad feelings about that. I was totally in my own body. I totally trusted myself. A lot of people ask me this question. I had 3 months worth of mortgage payments available. I didn't even have like the full amount of money I needed, but I had 3 months worth of mortgage and bill payments sat in an account ready to go. And in fact, I think I put them in the joint account that I had with my ex-husband at the time. And I was like, right, that's my 3 months paid, my half of what needs to be paid. I'll figure the rest out as I go. So that wasn't quitting and giving up on myself. That was releasing, letting go, choosing to change a paradigm, choosing to change a construct, choosing to change the way I saw my life moving forward. But there have been things where I've given up on myself. So I have started many things and not finished them. I'm sure most of us have. I've started many diets. I've started many projects. I've started many courses. I've started many qualifications. I've given up on them. And the truth is, there was always one of two reasons why I gave up on them. And the first one was either I didn't really want it in the first place. And then I always argue that's, again, not quitting. That's releasing something that no longer serves you. Or two, I didn't actually believe I could achieve it. And the effort and the work it would have required to transform, shift, and change my beliefs in order to achieve it would have been more effort than releasing it and choosing something else. So I think what's really important about that is that, so you could look at me and say, oh, you're a quitter. You've signed up to all these courses and you always give up. And it is about discerning the difference between releasing something that no longer serves you, releasing something you actually don't want to do, and or releasing something that you know that the effort and the energy you put behind it is not going to bring you the perceived reward. And this is where trusting yourself is really important. And trusting yourself isn't something you just wake up and know how to do. Like, I have been working intensely since I was like 24 on my personal development. I'm 35 now. And I've been doing that alongside therapy, alongside other things. And even I have spent the last year really investing in regulating my nervous system and doing the things for myself that mean that I could learn to trust myself again. Because just because we've trusted ourselves once or in the past doesn't mean we can't lose that when we make decisions that send us off kilter or something happens in life, right? And I talked about this last week about, we've just been through the craziest time with the pandemic. So I think what we have to remember is that trusting yourself is not something that's a permanent state of being. Sometimes it fluctuates up and down. And so when we make these decisions to let go of something, and it maybe doesn't feel like a trusted decision, the work is not to then make yourself stick with the thing. The work is to get behind trusting yourself. That's the work. So if that's letting go of things, if releasing things that you no longer believe will serve you, or that actually you're like, let's weigh this up here, what is quitting? So to me, quitting is saying you really want something, believing that you really want something, and not fucking trying. That's what quitting is to me. Quitting isn't letting go of things that no longer serve you or that actually don't light your soul on fire. Quitting is saying that you want something and then deciding that because it's too fucking hard or because it feels a bit out of reach that you're just going to give up. Now, like I've said, there is always work to be done to bring our beliefs to match our desires, right? So a desire is born within us. We're like, fucking hell, yeah, I want that. then what happens is we have to sometimes build the belief to get to it. It's very rare that we go, yeah, I want that and I believe and have it, boom, it manifests tomorrow. And if we do, it's usually something that we have been getting our energy behind for a while, or it's something that we have already received. So again, back to what I've been saying about your default settings, there's something within that we expect, that we're like, yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, that sounds easy. I could imagine that happening. Because there's no energetic resistance behind that then. There's no paradigms and stories behind it. So your energy is aligned in your body, your thought process is aligned in your mind. So it's going to come, it's going to happen, you're going to create it, you're willing to put the work in, etc. What happens is when a big desire is born from us, right? When there's something really big that we want and we're really clear about why we want it, often we have work to do to believe we can have it. And I've talked loads about this in my manifestation podcasts. And the work is not efforting and struggling and strife, right? The work is getting ourselves to believe that we are worthy of that thing is possible for us, that we can have that thing and be that thing and do that thing. And so what a lot of people do though is quit then. Is they look at the desire, it feels so far away from where they are. They're like, oh, I couldn't possibly. And so what they do is then they give up, even though it's what they want. To me, that is quitting. So here's my advice. If you are that person right now, if you genuinely want it, the first thing I want you to get clear on is, what is it specifically that you want? Because actually, if you're saying that you want to be a size 12, what you actually want is to be confident in a pair of jeans and wear a swimsuit and not hate the way you look. That's different to being a size 12, right? Size 12 is a numerical specific goal you have attached to a feeling. Let's say you want to achieve a goal in business. Let's say you want to have your first 10K month, right? What is it about the 10K month that you want to feel or you want to have? And it's likely that you want to feel like you're moving forward, you're progressing, that you're showing your business has grown. Actually, what you're looking for is a marker that your business has grown and progress and growth, and 10K would symbolize that. Now, it's not to say you won't achieve 10K, right? But what I want you to really think about is, be really clear on what it is you actually want, because if it's just a 10K month and there's not really anything attached to that, you might do a 10K month. But if you don't build your belief up to being a person that earns 10K a month, that will only be a temporary situation. Whereas when we focus on what we want, which is actually an abundant, growing, overflowing, effervescing business that does over 10K consistently or regularly, or, find what word works for you, then actually we can get our energy behind that and believe in, okay, cool, who do I need to be? So first of all, you get really specific about what you want, but not specific in the minutiae details, but get really clear on the difference between what you think you want and what you actually want. When you then know what you want, it's important to know the why. And because when life gets hard, we need to have something that keeps us in the game, right? That's why you need a why. But you don't need to know the how. And this is where there's like a big blur in the personal development world. We've got 50% of it's very spiritual. That's like, you don't need to know the how, release the how, trust the universe. And then we've got 50% of the personal development world that's like, fucking hustle, make a plan, make a strategy, give it your graft and do it your all. And honestly, I have been caught between these two fucking things for the past 11 years of my life. And I flip between the two of them like a freaking pendulum, right? Because I believe there's a place for all of it. And there's a place for everything. And there's a place for each one. And I think the key thing is to find what resonates best with you about that certain thing. So, for example, you might be really flowy and easy and chilled about growing your business, but you might need a super strategy, a super focus plan, and super accountability and commitment when it comes to your body goals. You might need to be super flowy and relaxed about how the money comes in, but you might need to be super strategic about how you get your childcare sorted and your house decorated, right? And I think what you've got to work out is, what is going to put me in the most flow? What's going to allow me to get into the most flow with my goals? What's going to feel the best? And feeling the best doesn't mean being a lazy twat. And I want to be really clear about the difference. Feeling the best doesn't mean going, taking yourself out, letting yourself off the hook is what Abraham Hicks would say. That's not feeling the best. Feeling the best is feeling part of the momentum, feeling part of the creation, feeling part of the process of the goals and the dreams and the things that you have coming to fruition. That to me is being part of the process. And so when you're looking at not being a quitter, right? The work is usually the fact that you actually really want it. You actually know why you can have it, but because you don't know how, you just take yourself out of the game. Or the how feels so big and so overwhelming, you take yourself out of the game. And what I want you to know is the how is actually irrelevant, but the key is you've got to decide from the what, from the why. Am I going to be super strategic and plan with this and hold myself accountable to that? Or am I going to be super flowy and easy and believe that it's coming? But whatever you decide, and it might be a combination of both, if you actually want the thing that you say that you want, don't quit. And now that hopefully you've heard this and you recognize why you've quit in the past, and most people quit because they would rather quit before they start than they would try and fail. And that's because we've created this ridiculous concept around shame and failure and not being good enough. And it comes from our schooling system, and depending on how you're brought up with your parents, how they attach rewards to the things that you did. But for me personally, I absolutely have had a long game of kind of like climbing. Like basically my career in life was climbing at an aggressive rate, and then this is in my events career, and then it flatlined for a while and I almost felt like I went backwards, and I felt so much shame and disappointment around that. And then I took myself out, and again that was deciding what wasn't right for me rather than quitting. I took myself out of that, and then I did other things, and then again it was quite steady for a while, and then I had a massive climb of growth, and then it slipped back down again, and then it's leveled off again. And so what I think you have to know is there's no failure in that slipping back, and phrases like if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards aren't constructive and helpful when you're someone that's already really hard on yourself. So I think the key thing is that you've got to understand that the reason that you've quit on things in the past or let go of things, and that's for you to discern the difference, is because either, right, one, it no longer served you. And then if that's the case, let that shit go. The fact that you quit a job or left a relationship or ended a diet plan early or wasted money on something because it didn't fill your soul on fire, who gives a fuck? Let it go. You can't change the past, right? As Hal Elrod would say, can't change it. But if actually there's something that you've quit on, that you've stopped trying for, that you really fucking want, and you really know why you want it, I am urging you to let go of the how, to stay in the energy of the thing that you actually want. Like I said, what's the feeling you're trying to get? What's the energy you're trying to get? And then decide either a plan and a strategy or an approach to ease and flow, and get back in the fucking arena. Because if there is something that you want in life, I promise you, there is no way that you would have the desire if there wasn't the possibility that it's available for you. There are millions of people on this planet, and within, I'm actually billions, but there are billions of people on this planet, and there are literally millions of things that have been created, designed, invented, had, achieved. And you tell yourself stories that won't be you, and it's just bollocks. So what you have to understand is if there is something that you want, go get back in the arena and make it happen. Because releasing things from the past, letting things go from things that maybe didn't work out for you is a very different thing to quitting on your goals and dreams. So my ask of you is this, is don't be a quitter. Resilience is deciding to get the fuck back up and go again. And that is one thing I have in droves. And that is because I have been smacked in the face by life, by relationships, by health, by business, by money, by family situations, over and over and over and over. And in every single one of those scenarios, I absolutely had my pity moments. I absolutely had the time where I was like, I don't think I can do this. There's been many times I've drunk myself into a stupor, gone out and got wrecked. There's been times where I've literally slept for days and not left my bed, very Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, the film, right? I've done all of these things. But what I want you to know is I then said to myself, is this it? Is this it for me in this instance? And the answer was always no. Is this it for me in business? No. Is this it for me in relationships? No. Is this it with me, my family? No. Is this it with my journey with my body? No. So if that's not it, I then have to decide and empower myself in that moment to say, draw a line and move the fuck on. And a really great exercise to do this, and I do this a lot with people in my network marketing businesses, get a piece of paper, and I want you to draw dots on half the side of the paper, right? And then draw dots on the other side, half side of the paper. So you've got like two sections, dots on one side, dots on the other. And then I want you to draw a line down the middle. Great, you just drew a line in the sand. Now step over it and move the fuck on. Right, that's it for this episode. I love you all very much. See you on the next one.